How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first ever 5 Bad Disc Golfers production. 5 bad disc golfers roaming around the New England area playing disc golf poorly. I'm your host, Steve McGuire. Strap in, folks, we got a barn burner today. Here at historic Borderland State Park in Easton, Massachusetts, we've got 2 great challengers, Steve Flyover Jameson and Andy Shirtless Coppage. We call him Shirtless, you'll find out more in the summertime. A little too cold for him to bust them out just yet. So starting the day off, we have hole number 1, par 4, 545 feet. You either have a forehand or backhand off the tee box. You want it to either flex right, flex left, land somewhere in the middle past the center bank of trees, leaves you about 200 feet left to the basket. Easy forehand flick will get you there. This hole is birdieable. All of the first 4, you need to get out of them with a score under par, otherwise you are in trouble for the rest of the day. Let's see what we got. Good to go. Turned over, not coming back. Should be okay over there. Next up to the tee box from the Ohio State University, Steve Jameson.
That's terrible.
Somehow fights through all the trees and lands in the fairway. Absolute horseshit, but we'll take it. Jameson from the left side rough. Has a nice line to work with. Punches through, turns over a bit. Not a bad shot, Jameson. Andy on the far left side. Nice forehand gap. First forehand of the day. Hits a late tree. Should have a putt.
Oh, wow.
Wide right. Andy from 25 feet. Oh. Yeah, you want it, Steve. Come on. Yeah. All right, next up, a par 5, 910-foot shot. Starting out with a tight gap downhill into a field, you need a nice forehand or a turnover backhand to get you in a good landing zone for your second shot. You have to punch through another gap, most likely with a forehand, to land in the next open field. From there, it's about 200, 250 feet to the basket. This is a challenging hole if you don't make it off the tee pad. So let's buckle in and see if these gentlemen can even give themselves a chance at birdie. First up on the box, Steve Jameson. Absolutely shit whipped into the first available tree. Glad I didn't zoom in on that. Next up, Andy Coppage. Forehand Corvette. Up over the top. Oh, an absolute dog shit throw. 2 incredibly poor showings on hole number 2. This is gonna be a long, long basket. After a disastrous tee shot, Andy is trying to lay it before the gap on hole 2. Good flight. Needs to fade. Needs to fade. Oh, shoots through the gap into the opposite fairway. This is Steve Jameson's 3rd shot after punching out of the middle of the forest. Not high enough. Still got a shot.
Your husband played.
Jameson trying to round this gap with a forehand. Little high. Might be okay. And he pulled a Del Signore and went for the wrong basket. Now he's stuck. Awkward footing. Forehand. 400 to go. Nice height. Good out. Take a look at Jameson's basket. Every single disc is brand spanking new. You can see the sheen on them from here. That, my friends, is what we call Army golf. Right, left, right, left. So you can tell from the video, Andy is looking into the heart of the sun. Pilot approach, no fucking idea what's happening. It's too bright, far right. Jameson from about 100 feet. Good way up. For par. Nails it. All right, here we are, another par 4, right for a birdie. Hole number 3, 425 feet. You have two choices: big forehand up to the left of that bank of trees, or a backhand that flexes slightly to the right of that same bank of trees close to the basket. Now, when you get there, your next shot will be up onto the top of a group of rocks where the basket is perched. Can get challenging, a lot of rollaways on this hole, but can be birdied quite easily. Let's see if either of these gentlemen have it in them today. Hole 3, one of the easier par 4s on the course. Big rip from Andy. Might have been scared if I was in the way. Next up, Steve Jameson. All right. Shit distance from both of them. See if they can recover. Andy going forehand. Lands up on the edge. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Still going.
Such a good throw. That sucks.
Right. Steve Jameson, forehand as well. Nice height. Jameson from about 70 feet, 60 feet. Oh, what a putt.
Let's go.
Nice putt.
Tip your hat, Andy. Jameson with
Death putt of
a
death putts.
death putt.
Oh no.
Hate to see it. Oh, this is a great angle. Here we go. Does it. Rounding out the front 4 is this par 3, 410-foot downhill shot. It is a hard right to left. You need to throw a big bomb that fades hard and gets that basket tucked way in the corner. Problem is, playing with the elevation makes it a little bit challenging, and if you leak anywhere to the right or hit an early tree, this becomes a really long bogey. So, want to come out of the front 4 under par? This and hole number 2 are the real chances to blow it up. Let's see what Andy and Jameson have in the bag today.
Oh no. That is such a bad spot.
He's just playing down to my level. He's still kicking my ass.
Oh, hook up, come on. Great tee shot. After an incredibly short walk, we have found Andy's first shot. Looks like he's going Undertaker turnover forehand. Let's see how this works for him. Lost in the sun. Oh, Lord. Might be okay. laser beam. The unseen side of disc golf. Another long putt for Andy. He's been in the zone the last couple.
Oh, fuck off!
Now, after you take the long walk from hole 4 to hole 5, you arrive at this par 4, 475-foot hole. Pretty straight shot off the tee box. Want to flex a little bit to the right to avoid that middle bank of trees and fly directly over the white basket. If you can handle that, you actually might be in shape for an eagle. However, this group never does that. So be prepared for some early trees, some crappy shots, and maybe a par if we're lucky. Let's tap in, folks. So Jameson electing to go with a forehand with his MVP Neuron. Good speed, but a little bit high, so it's going to fade out a bit early. Crashes to the right. Good spot to be in for a second shot, though. Andy going flex forehand. Oh.
Oh.
Andy put himself in an awkward position here. Probably about 2 something left of the basket. You can see it tucked right there. Nice soft throw, maybe a little long. Yeah. Good attempt. Andy from 50 feet. Hole number 6, par 4, 490 feet. We call this the Bonal Especial. You'll meet Dennis Bonal at a different date, but there's a telephone pole dead center off the tee pad that Dennis used to beat the living shit out of consistently. So for this bad boy, you want to throw a low, fast shot around the big tree, have it skip off the ground. That's your best bet. Then a forehand approach to try to get you close without going OB on the road. Let's see what these guys choose to do today. Jameson going to step up first with his, I believe, leopard. Try to flex it around this middle tree a little bit, but ends up nailing it with some oomph, but landing in a decent spot for his next shot. We call this the Bonal hole. There's his famous telephone pole that he abused thoroughly. And he's throwing right at my fucking head into the shit. Oh, way to go. Oh. Jameson, last minute decision. Let's see if it works out for him. Leading out. Decent shape for your third shot. Andy back here in Narnia, going for shot number 2.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Got it. Nice layup. Oh! Alrighty, Andy and Jameson cleaning up their pars here on hole number 6. Before we head into hole number 7, and as you'll see, they have a sign up for Steve Jameson. Tell him to keep his voice down and watch his language, which is a very common trend with our friend from Ohio. Now it's a par 4, 610 feet. The big challenge is making this tight gap on the right. It's pretty far to get to that gap, and if you end up short of that bank of trees, you are in a terrible spot. But if you can make that gap, it's not a bad second shot to get to the basket and have an attempt at birdie. But as always with this group, we don't do the right thing. Let's see. So Jameis is going to trust that forehand MVP again. Leaves it a little bit too high, crashes into this big, nasty tree. Lands pretty short. Testing the wind. Oh, he's in deep, deep shit. Almost the worst place you can be on this course. Jameson trying to make the gap here. 7. Oh, not ideal. Incredibly unideal. Oh, Andy, forehand roller. Vote of no confidence, but I won't tell him because he's way over there. Yeah. Yeah. Nice out, Jameson. Andy Kopp, not to be deterred by his last forehand roller, is attempting a second forehand roller. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be just as bad as last time. Hard as he can. Actually, much better than I anticipated. Catch me slowing down the pace of play by constantly playing with ice, or if there's a frozen lake, just hucking rocks into that bad boy. Healthy. So Andy's second forehand roller went out of bounds. So here is his bogey attempt. Fuse, nice little S-curve. Oh! Buzzes the tower, but no good. He's going to settle for a double bogey on this bad boy, giving Jameson some serious confidence. All right, here we go. Hole number 8, also known as the round breaker. Lots of OB on this picture here. Par 4, 460. You have two choices. You can do a forehand out to the left or a big high backhand off to the right, trying to avoid this OB wall. If you're short of it, you're done for. You want to land somewhere in the middle for a nice easy approach shot to avoid the marsh on the left. This has killed so many of our rounds. We usually just start back at hole number 1 and start the whole day over. Let's see what happens here, folks. Jameson going the alternate route here on number 8, the difficult forehand hole. Oh man, majestic. Got to be the best forehand I've ever seen Steve Jameson pull out of his bag before. Next, we got Andy Koppage going the more traditional route. This is by far his least favorite hole. He fucking hates this hole because he goes out of bounds all the time. So here he is, trying to make it over the wall. Tries to kill me. Makes it through safely and is actually in a good spot for a forehand approach shot. Love to see it. Great shots. Gentlemen, turning it around on one of the harder holes on the course. You're listening live to big, sexy Steven commentary. Jomez Pro has given me a few offers, but I've turned them down just because, you know, the money's just not there. For what I provide, I need to see at least 6 figures. So here come the contestants. Andy making his traditional masturbatory gesture to let people know he's the man. He's the man to compete with. Jameson wearing his state-of-the-art Ohio State sweater with built-in warmers. He's sponsored, actually, by his former college. Andy, back to some really tough trees in an attempt at a wide forehand gap. Should be in decent shape.
Yeah, that's okay.
Clips him. Should be decent. All right, here's Andy trying to keep it close. This is his birdie attempt. Straddle putt with a big tree in the way. Let's see what he can do. Reaches back. Buzzes the tower, but no chance. Jameson for birdie. What a man. Jameson coming for Andy's blood. Alrighty, here we are wrapping up the front 9, par 4, 425, big left to right shot. If you are a forehand specialist, this is a hole that you can get an easy birdie on almost 9 times out of 10. There's a straight left gap that fades hard to the right. There's also an inner gap that you can flirt with that is a little more challenging for backhand players, but we will see what these gentlemen choose from today. But close match going into the final hole of the front 9. Hole number 9, big dog leg right. Jameson going backhand for some reason. Oh, he's going opposite gap. Not a bad spot to land. You can take that. Down center, nails it. Oh, gonna be a very cut off forehand for Andy's next shot. Pull the trigger, Andy. Let's go. Oh, goes tomahawk at the last second. Gets a decent. Big putt from Andy to save par. Big trees in the way. Too wide.
Maybe I should have brought my putter.
Now, folks, look at this year's scorecard. I did not have this on my 2022 bingo card. Jameson giving Andy a run for his money on the front 9, only down 2 strokes. Let me give you some context here, folks. Andy has the most rounds this year at about 45. Mr. Flyover Steve at the lowest with 4. So here we are going into the back 9, hole number 10. This hole blows. Impossible for this group to birdie. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. 400-foot shot. Got to clear a really big tree. And then there's a rock wall, which most of us can get to on a good day. Just over the rock wall is OB. And then there's another 80 feet to the basket. Play this for par. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very sad day. Let's see what we got. Not my best camera work, but you get the gist. All right, Andy going for his patented turnover forehand to the right gap. See if you can pull it off today. His forehand's been fucky as hell. Little flip, nails the big one, but gets to a decent spot. Jameson, testing his flexibility. Hikes up the Wranglers so he can get some more depth. A fantastic forehand from Jameson in a very uncomfortable position. All right, Andy jump putting with his fuse. We're about 100? I'll call that 100.
So I had to get up. Oh, hey.
Alrighty, folks, screw the pooch on this one. Forgot to take a picture of the tee box sign. This is tight gap, pretty far, hard right to left, tough to get all the way to the basket. Andy comes up, big rip, probably his biggest rip on this hole ever. Starts fading out, skips just past the big rock, has a chance to putt downhill. Oh, Jameson got the wrong disc. He wants the river, I believe. Looks like the river. Prediction. Turn over to the right, hits this tree. Oh, no. It's the other tree. I knew a tree was going to get hit. I've moved forward about 6 feet so I could capture this shot. It's going to be a long hole. Jameson was close to the lead. There's that turnover I was looking for.
Good.
And he says, gotta make a run at this, right? See if it pays off. Jameson bogey. uphill, 30-footer.
Bush has a bunch of prickly shit in it.
Oh man, it's like putting into the fucking sun exactly.
So as Andy stares deep into the sun for his putt, he picks up 2 strokes on hole number 10, quickly expanding that lead. Hole number 12 is the toughie, par 4, 480 feet through a tight gap. You know, for most of our distances, we can make that gap, but it's fading out while it does, so it usually ends up in that crappy bank of trees on the right, which ruins this hole. But if you can make that gap with some gusto, you have a chance at a second shot that gets you close to a birdie putt. We've been working at this course for years, trying to make this gap consistently. Doesn't happen often. We'll see if either of these gentlemen can change the inevitable. Andy stepping up with his Corvette, going to rip a forehand. It's going to fade out early, hit a couple trees on that right-hand side, but kick out into a clearing that will give him a good second shot.
Oh, wow. No commentary because I had to sprint back from taking a picture, and I'm struggling to breathe. Jamieson throwing directly at me. Oh, that's going to be a tough hole. Jamieson is losing it after absolutely crushing it on the front nine.
So this is what this hole can turn into. A forehand that also leads into this bank of trees, and then a third shot from inside these bank of trees turns into a nightmare if you're not careful.
Great layup.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a little short.
Jamieson says, fuck the wide open right gap. I'm punching through these trees.
Oh, right down the gut.
Oh, that was dope.
Coming to hole 13, par 3, 320, a very birdieable hole on this back nine, where there's not a lot of very birdieable holes. Now there's a couple trees right by the tee pad and one big monster tree dead center. If you can avoid both of those and have something that turns a little bit to the right and fades back towards the basket, you have a really good chance of birdie here. There is an OB wall in the back that you can flirt with if you get a little too aggressive, like I usually do, and try to throw it as hard as I can on every hole. But these two guys won't mess with that too much.
Yep. Good shape. Could be a...
Oh,
Oof.
I niced myself. Right in the middle.
Jameson really loving this leopard shot. He can really get it to shape well. Fades back towards the basket. He's got about 80 feet to go. He busts out his mid-range. Gets a little strong with it. Bumps up against that OB wall, but doesn't go OB.
Andy Ladyfingers Coppage for birdie. Nails it.
Let's go.
Run it in, Andy. Yeah, run it in.
If you want to play like Wysocki, you got to run it out when you make a long putt.
The graveyard of Steve Jameson. Discs everywhere.
Alrighty, folks. Hole 14, 383-foot par 4. You got OB left. You got OB short of a wall with a tight gap to punch through. Andy has allegedly eagled this hole. I have seen no proof. Best bet is a flexi forehand that fades back towards the basket, but there's a lot of trees. You got to get really lucky on this one to have a chance. But if you end up short of that wall, this hole becomes really, really long and can ruin your push to hole 18 for a victory.
Triple forehand is the hope. Good rip. tree, tree, tree. That's actually where I was standing 10 seconds ago and Andy told me to move. Oh no. Round 2. Fight. Oh, I inspired him to throw really well. All right, Andy's forehand approach, par 4, second shot. Let's see what he can do here. Little Andy forehand magic. Runs it right at the basket. Jamison not to be outdone. Little magic of his own. Andy for his 3rd birdie in as many holes. Oh God! This is the Dennis basket because it's only 3.5 feet off the ground. It's hard to putt towards. It's full of shenanigans. Oh, Spanx one.
Alrighty, hole 15, par 3, 375 feet. Deceptively tough hole. There's not a lot of room out to the right for you to get a nice wide sweeping hyzer line. It's something that has to turn just a little bit and stay straight for as long as it can, because that OB wall on the left is very easy to hit. If you're throwing something fast, it can skip and go over that short wall. So not a lot of birdies come from this group on this hole, but we'll see if either of these gentlemen can change history today.
Hole 15, tight gap up over the hill. Let's see what Andy can do here. Little flip up with the strike. Oh, just fucking nails it. Jamison took his hand off the disc. Practicing a new throwing style is not, oh no, not good. Yeah, don't do that on the course.
Andy taking out his understable putter, his P4 for a nice gentle approach shot. Landed soft right next to the basket.
In nomine Patris.
Alrighty, getting close to the end here. 16, par 4, 490-foot hole. This has always been one of the more challenging holes for this group. It's an uphill shot with a low ceiling and a tight gap that has to ride that left-hand side to curve up the hill towards the blue basket. It is a crappy hole that we have consistently not made the gap. I hit the high branch every throw for most of my history here. We are all now getting to a point where we can kind of consistently make this gap. Let's see what happens here. Andy going to attempt murder in 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Fuck.
He's mad at me.
Oh. Right height. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, Andy said he's gonna do some weird shit. Looks like he's doing some weird shit because a backhand, it was very, very in play. And it rolls. Punch through. Oh. Park job.
I'm outside the circle, right?
Yeah. Just kidding. I'm calling a foot fault. Andy, I lied. You're inside the circle. Foot fault. Andy Coppage nailing big putts. Fucking big butts.
Alrighty, hole 17, par 4, 525 feet. Pretty long, difficult hole. Tight gaps you make it through the beginning. Heavy out of bounds on the left in that swampy area. And a giant bush protecting the blue basket. So if you can avoid that initial OB, you have to contend with, I believe it's called the forsythia bush. That's what Andy calls it. He's a planter, so he knows better than I do. That bush is very heavy in play. We'll see if either of these gentlemen can avoid it on this hole. And just look at this beautiful shot. 17 is the signature hole here. That is the Ames Mansion at Borderland State Park. So here's Andy's shot. Forehand. Flexes a bit too much. Dies out into the crap.
Jameson showing Andy Coppage how it's done. Jameson just gonna jump in front of Andy. Good forehand. Under bounds.
Over the forsythia.
Andy says it's gonna go over whatever that bush is called. Forsythia. Can't be true. He's going high. He's going high. Crashing. Deep. Nice. Perfect layup. The perfect angle. Ah! I let Andy borrow my beanie, and now he looks like a member of Fall Out Boy.
All right, wrapping it up at hole 18, par 4, 450-foot shot. Best bet here is just a big ripping forehand that makes this weird little S-gap. So basically those trees on the left-hand side are short, so you can kind of clear them with a big forehand, but the trees on the right are big and deadly. You gotta end up near that white basket on your approach. Then you have a straight shot for your second shot, then you have a chance to birdie. But the last hole of the day, it's cold, it's chilly, we're tired. Who knows what's gonna happen? So Jameson opts for the low forehand here instead of the high forehand with his MVP Neuron. Aims straight at that bank of trees on the left and somehow miraculously punches through all of them. Lands in a really nice spot.
And he's got out his bead in river.
And he really wants the option of having a big backhand turnover here. So he's going to force the issue since he has the lead. Puts it on too much angle. Can't really see it, but ends up crashing in the trees pretty hard, leaving him in bad shape. Fun story here. There's 3 baskets. Jameson thinks he's aiming at the correct basket. He parks the wrong basket. Has all the confidence in the world. Where's the camera, baby? There it is. And he's in real rough shape here, so he's just going to try and punch out with a forehand. Nice little flick, should end up missing some trees. But it doesn't. It hits a couple of them.
Andy's showing real grit out here. Playing injured to finish hole 18. On his previous shot, he pinched his testicles between his thighs. He's really hurting.
Jameson realizing he threw at the wrong basket in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Wait,
Oh.
that basket?
Beautiful stuff.
This is Jameson running back to his previous lie. Because
Right, under over on whether this ends up in a better or worse spot.
oh, it's going way worse. Because he's going to throw it harder. Yeah, we'll take that.
He's throwing backhand.
He threw to the wrong basket. We're letting him retake shot number 2. And he ends up in a substantially worse position than if he just took that shot. Anger disc. That's what we need.
And that, folks, will wrap up the battle at Borderland State Park. Andy Coppage with an absolutely dominant back 9. Jameson falling apart, but still a good showing.
Oh, fuck off!
Listen to the man preach. Alrighty folks, here's the final scorecard. Andy Coppage winning by a commanding 13 strokes after only being up 2 at the turn. You know, just a great day for disc golf. Can't get mad at Flower for falling apart. He only plays 4 times a year. Next year, he's going to play 8. This was the first ever production by 5 Bad Disc Golfers. We are 5 subpar disc golfers playing various courses around the New England area. If you want to see more of this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day, folks.